The most decisive battle of the drug war didn't happen at a border. It happened in your city's apartments and storage bays before dawn. At 4:49 a.m., Operation Inner Shield hit the Block Kings in an 11-minute strike. 9 thermal drones marked heat signatures, 37 armored vehicles sealed escape routes, and 412 agents executed a synchronized breach. The result? 1.8 tons of narcotics, 89 illegal firearms, and $6.7 million in cash seized. Watch how a network running through 63 housing units and 41 fake moving companies collapsed almost instantly, and why seniors were at the heart of this fight. How did a crew hiding in plain sight turn subsidized housing and moving trucks into a silent pipeline? They mapped the city's soft spots and embedded themselves. The Block Kings used 63 housing units as command nodes, then stacked 41 shell moving companies around them and pushed orders through 23 unlicensed couriers. On paper, it looked like late-night furniture runs and storage cleanouts. On the ground, it was pickups from quiet hallways, handoffs at loading docks, and drop-offs timed to building staff rotations. Residents logged deliveries, not distribution. Superintendents shrugged at carts and cartons. The crew didn't need camouflage, they needed routine. The volume tells you the rest. 3 tons a month moved across 12 cities with clean manifests and burner routes. Labels matched rental agreements. Plates swapped on a loop. Vans carried household goods, while pallets under false floors carried meth and fentanyl. Each city had 2 or 3 nodes, and each node stamped its own paperwork, so nothing looked oversized in any one place. When a truck crossed a bridge or tunnel, the log matched a legitimate move order signed by a fake customer with a prepaid phone. Seniors became the fastest growth market. The crew pushed counterfeit painkillers and anxiety meds into retirement complexes and church parking lots, sold as low-cost refills. Emergency rooms saw the pattern first. Spikes late in the month. Same pill press striations on tablets that were supposed to be familiar brands. Paramedics reported repeat addresses at government-funded housing, victims found with pill organizers filled by the same pharmacy helper who never wore a name badge. Inside the buildings, vacant units held stash rooms and pill presses. Relay radios sat in closets with foam baffles. Subsidized units hid the power draw because the baseline was already high. The syndicate wired presses to laundry circuits and ran them during wash cycles. If a breaker tripped, a tenant called maintenance and the operation paused for 10 minutes, then resumed. Door cameras tied to decoy schedules created a half-hour bubble. A courier got a buzz-in window between security rounds, used a hand truck, and left before anyone checked a sign-in sheet. The money moved as quietly as the product. Cash mules made deposits under reporting limits, never at the same bank twice in a week. Those funds paid used car lot invoices and storage leases. Titles flipped fast. A sedan sold 3 times in a month became a ledger sponge, soaking up dirty cash and returning it as sales revenue. Storage units, always late on paperwork, ate fees that doubled as smurfed laundering costs. By sunrise, the books balanced. That is how a $6.7 million cash engine ran inside ordinary buildings without setting off local alarms. A neighbor saw a dolly and a box. A clerk saw a rental contract. A driver saw a route with 4 stops and a lunch break. To crack it, you needed more than affidavits and patience. This kind of network runs on rhythm, which means you take it apart with a clock. Timing becomes the wedge, and the wedge starts ticking before dawn. Why did the clock matter more than the door charge? Because the Block Kings ran on rhythm, and the rhythm broke at 4:49 a.m. That minute sat in the gap between the last courier drop and the first morning spin-up. Guards reset, transit hadn't started, and traffic lanes were empty. The buildings were awake enough to mask movement, but quiet enough that a single engine echo mattered. That's the window where a network breathes in, not out. Go earlier, and you hit armed lookouts winding down their shift, still keyed up, still on radios. Go later, and first shift stirs coffee, scans messages, and gets cars rolling. The timing window lives in that thin strip where people trust routine. Radios sit on tables. Chargers blink. A hallway camera buffer overwrites old footage. The gap is short, but it gives you clean entries, fewer running engines, and less chatter on neighborhood channels. Finding it took weeks of mosaic work. Cell site pings built a cadence of who moved where after midnight. Trash pulls added receipts, labels, and dry cleaner slips that matched courier lanes. Thermal patterns did the rest, showing nightly heat spikes from pill presses and constant load dryers that stayed hot after the last wash. When the dryers cooled, the presses stopped. When they cycled, production resumed. Those peaks built a clock more reliable than any tip. 9 thermal drones stitched that clock to the street in real time. They scanned rooflines for warm vents and stairwells where heat bled out of concrete. Basements showed as glowing blocks when presses ran. Alleys revealed short movements: 2 bodies, 1 hand truck, a door held open for 6 seconds, then closed. A drone held on each target cluster, flipping overlays to mark hot rooms and cold exits, guiding ground teams away from decoys and toward live rooms. Signals discipline kept the window intact. Radios stayed dark. Routes loaded into armored vehicles before engines turned. Drivers rolled on exact speeds to hit choke points on schedule. At breach points, teams used hands and light taps, not voices. Everyone knew the cut-ins. No open mics, no last-minute GPS calls, no alerts for scanners to catch across town. One South LA node became the proof case. Investigators mapped a dryer's heat cycle to pill press shifts over 5 nights. The press crew swapped at the 22-minute mark after a dryer peak. The hit landed at 4:49 a.m. in the changeover, catching the room ungloved, pills mid-tray, and the logbook open. No one had time to run a wipe script. No lookout had time to warn the next address. That single minute locked the chain. Warrant clocks lined up across time zones, and cut-ins staggered by seconds to jam cross-city alerts. If one door went loud, the others were already inside. The timing wasn't luck. It neutralized lookouts, froze the courier chain, and boxed in cash and product before the first bus left the depot. Timing set the stage. Now the machines move. What does an 11-minute takedown look like when 412 agents and 37 armored vehicles move as one? It looks like a city map turning into a playbook. The grid went live at 4:49 a.m. Armored vehicles formed mobile walls, blocking alleys, ramps, and feeder streets in 3 rings. Breach teams stacked 2 flights down from target doors, tools pre-staged, rams taped, shields up. Above them, drones pushed thermal overlays to tablets, marking hot rooms, cold stairwells, and vents that glowed from hidden presses. Every lane out had steel on it. Every main door had a number and a time. 1 wrong door, 1 spooked runner, and product, cash, and weapon scatter. The plan left no space for a solo sprint or a Hail Mary drive. Drivers in the armored units rolled at fixed speeds to close gaps without sirens. Couriers who woke to a thud met a quiet hallway and a blocked exit. If a lookout tipped a radio, there was nowhere for that warning to go. Minutes 0 through 3 locked the box. Outer cordons shut intersections and turned lights red on all routes out. Utilities cut power at flagged buildings, killing cameras and press circuits tied to laundry lines. Teams used silent entries where intel showed no dogs and no hard bars. Doors with chained interiors got wedges and a whisper entry. The aim was to delay the chain reaction for as long as the window allowed. From minute 4 to 7, the line broke open. Synchronized breaches hit on the count: flash, shield, clear, move. Safes got drills, not guesses. Comms tables went first. Phones, laptops, and notebooks swept into Faraday bags. Routers, modems, and DVRs went dark and then into evidence to stop remote wipes. Thermal feeds steered teams past decoy rooms to heat-heavy closets and false walls. Where stacks met resistance, a second team rolled from the stairwell, keeping tempo. Minutes 8 to 11 turned to triage. Evidence teams verified narcotics weight on portable scales, logged lot markings, and sealed trays. Firearms cleared chambers and magazines before tagging. Cash moved to counted bundles, signed, and packed in tamper bags. Field tests flagged fentanyl on site, and rooms with airborne risk got masks and taped vents. 2 rooms needed Narcan for exposure threats, and med teams stood in the hallway ready with kits and oxygen. The rhythm never stalled. Before sunrise, the seizure picture told the story. 1.8 tons of narcotics seized, 89 illegal firearms recovered, and $6.7 million in cash taken out of play. The difference was Doctrine. Operation Inner Shield treated an urban syndicate like a national security target. The 37 armored vehicles were not for show. They were the moving perimeters that made escape lanes vanish and kept every breach team focused on the room in front of them. The network folded under ground armor, thermal eyes, and synchronized stacks. The city went quiet, but the message reached the docks. If you were shocked by the precision of Operation Inner Shield and the betrayal of trust against these seniors, please like this video, comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dive analyses on how global crime rings are taken down.